In order to keep up with the time, we will move on to the next presentation, but we have time to discuss more in detail once we go to the Q&A. So without further ado, please, Chan, go ahead and take the policy recommendation overview presentation.
Yes, thank you very much, Anna. So my name is Chan. I'm a research scientist at VTT, and I'm responsible for this policy recommendation task. Next slide, please. Okay, so our policy recommendation task is actually belong to our work package 1 about the circular economy framework analysis, and we know that the regulation is a critical part for the circular economy transition. So that's why we need to mapping the regulation and analyze the bottleneck and driver for it to formulate the policy recommendation. So this is the main idea of our task. So about the process of the task, so we started the task like 6 months ago, and we lost a partner from our consortium involved in identify the data research, mapping the European policy, and identify the key driver and barrier for it. And after that, like with the insight we find from the data research, we validated with the workshop through stakeholder engagement. And after that, like we, in the end, we formulate the policy recommendation. Yeah. Next slide, please. So you can see here is the an overview of the policy instrument that we already identified for this start. Next slide, please. Okay, so from here is a quick insight from our analysis. So we identify 4 critical topics for our policy recommendation. So the first one is plastic waste collection, sorting, and logistics. Second one is about the feasibility of the recycled content requirement and also the application of bio-based plastic. The third one is about plastic recyclability, and the fourth one is about the economic profitability. Next slide, please. I will go more into detail about the first topic here. So on the left side, you can see the team for the policy recommendation, and on the right side is our suggestion for that team. So the first one is how we can enhance the waste collection, sorting, and reducing the waste incineration. So in our policy recommendation here, we suggest that we can establish some financial policy incentive that can support the waste collection and separation. For example, through the extended producer responsibility, or the other things that is upcoming now is the emission trading system. Like if it includes the waste incineration into the emission trading, the plastic will be will be separated more because it will costly to burn plastic because it can be included in the emission trading system. Another one to increase the collection and separation rate is to establish more comprehensive and waste criteria for the plastic. And also the digital product passport system can help in the traceability of the material, such as have it better for collecting and sorting. Another theme is about the eco-modulation for plastic recyclability by design. So normally the extended producer responsibilities, they focus more on the downstream of the process about the collection and separation. But if we can apply the eco-modulation, which means that the recycling fee are determined based on the recyclability of the product, so we can have also improve the upstream of the process to foster the desire for recycling more. And the last one for this is the possible effect of the waste shipment regulation restriction. So the European will ban the waste export to the non-OECD country. So it's a step that like the European want to take more responsible for its waste generation, but it can cause some adverse effect as well if we don't have enough plastic in recycling infrastructure and is in cost burden to some destined country. For example, like the big importer of plastic waste from Europe, from the EU now is Turkey, and it's can cause some adverse effect to Turkey, like when the waste increase too much because the regulation banning the waste export to the non-OECD country. So the regulation here is that we should build the cooperation platform between Europe to mitigate the plastic waste burden and like improve the logistics between the Europe and also the investment for plastic infrastructure to ensure that we can take care of our own plastic waste is important. So next slide, please. The second topic is about the feasibility of the recycled content requirement and also the bio-based plastic. So in the first one, we will talk about the recycled content requirement. So it's very like ambitious strategy to enhance the circular economy by recycled content requirement. But here we have a gap between the targets and the recycled quality control. So for example, for PET, like it touches the recycled content very high in the plastic packaging and plastic packaging waste regulation, like is up to 30% for recycled content requirement. But the challenge is in the recycled quality management. So if the recycled plastic, if we want to come back into the contact sensitive packaging, like food contact, like the quality of the recycle is very important. So even some very small contaminant from the recycled PET, like it can come from the label or like from even from the logistic. This can violate the food contact regulation. So it cannot be used and it creates a gap here between the touches and the actual application. So the suggestion for this one is we should increase the R&D funding and investment to expand our knowledge and understanding of the safety for the recycled quality, especially in the sensitive packaging like the food contact. And we should also update the plastic recycled regulation to facilitate more alternative recycling option. For example, like the chemical recycling, so that's like we can improve the recycled quality and enable the use in contact sensitive packaging. So the next one is about the, sorry, it's not going into the next slide yet, about the bio-based material. So it can be very promising as an alternative to plastic packaging, but currently we are very lacking a regulation framework for it. So the suggestion is that like we should establish more comprehensive regulation framework for it, for the bio-based polymer. So that's like it can enable its market access. And also we should also develop the standard guideline, especially for bio-based material, so that it can be integrated more into the industry and also like for the end-apply management for it. Next slide, please. This is the previous one. We come to topic 3 now. Yeah, thank you very much. And about the plastic recyclability, so how we can improve the recyclability from it. We have a team here about the lack of standardized plastic recycling practice. So we need more standard to increase the plastic recyclability and the plastic process. So we the suggestion here we should create again the cooperation platform, especially to develop the standard and certification scheme for the plastic recycling process and also its product. For example, pyrolysis oil is very lacking of standardization now. And we also need to create very flexible standards because the plastic recycle rate are very diverse beyond the feedstock quality. So the standard needs to be flexible also. And it also needs to be reviewed periodically, so we can incorporate like any advancement through the technology into the standards. And another challenge for plastic recyclability is the complex of its product and process design. So yeah, plastic waste can be very heterogeneous. And so to tackle such problem, we should enact the eco-design as well as the material traceability to improve more the sustainability and design for recycling. Also, funding for technological development is needed for mechanical recycling and complemented by the chemical recycling to handle more challenging plastic waste. Next slide, please. And the last topic, we talk about the economic profitability. So it's a quite big challenge because the virgin plastic is much cheaper than the recycled plastic. So that's why we need to improve the cost effective here and also the consumer acceptance. And because we can do it by establish some national and European economic scheme, and also implement sanction for virgin fossil-based plastic solution. And we can also improve the consumer protection law or some labeling and certification system to ensure the transparency and in the marketplace. And also we can raise the consumer awareness through education program to empower them to make the sustainable choice. And so some public procurement scheme can help a lot here. And yeah, more funding for technological development to reduce cost if needed. So yeah, I think that is the end of my presentation. And here's some kind of next steps. So we have more than 100 pages. Deliverable is coming up, and more shorter version of the white paper and policy brief are coming also. So if you're interested, yeah, we will share it in the future. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.